Hi readers, me here, Lee. Welcome back to my channel. And last week was kind of a rough week and I totally forgot to do my author spotlight. But here we are, and I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it because this is supposed to be fun and a way to express my creativity. It is not my job. So this past week, my author spotlight is on two authors of children's books, and they are horror-ish. Those authors are Mary Downing Hahn and Wren Wright. I read 4 books for this project and also did a little bit of research about the authors, but I'm not going to go into too much detail on that because I'm just trying to get this knocked out. Anywho, so for Mary Downing Hahn, I read Wait Till Helen Comes and A Time for Andrew. Of these, I liked A Time for Andrew the best. When I finished Wait Till Helen Comes, I didn't really want to read anything else by her. However, I know I've read books by her that are great. But this one, fantastic read. And I'm wondering, are books from like 70s, 80s, 90s for children a bit darker than they are today? I have not read any children's books in the 2020s, published in the 2020s. So if you got any recommendations, hey, let me know because I'd love to check it out. I love dark. This is kind of what got me turned on to horror in the first place. Time for Andrew is a ghost story. It was really great. But I think that part of the issue that I had with Wait Till Helen Comes is when I was reading about Mary Downing Hahn, and she said she didn't even want to write ghost stories, but she kind of got sucked into it, and my timer is about to go off. She kind of got sucked into it, and I thought, and then at some point she was complaining that she had to still keep writing ghost stories, and I thought, well, why? Why bother, folks? You know, if you don't like it, don't read it. But my timer's going to go off, and I don't want to stop this video because I haven't figured out editing yet. Let me go take the chicken out of the oven. Be right back. Sorry about that. I'm cooking some chicken legs, whole chicken legs, with a shawarma barbecue sauce, so it smells so good. Anywho, back to Mary Downing Hahn and Wait Till Helen Comes. Usually, I think, if a writer can make a character that you hate, like Heather in this book, that's good writing. But it was also hard to find a likable character in this book at all. And although I did find one thing funny, let me find it. It was this kind of thing that really bothered me. The stepfather in this novel was a dick, and Mom was not good at momming. She kept pawning her shit off on the older daughter, not the stepdaughter. And then they talk about a move, and the brother, Michael, sits down in his chair and slumps down in his chair and mumbles, "I'd rather stay in Baltimore, even if I never see anything but cockroaches, pigeons, and rats." "Oh, for heaven's sake, Michael," Mom looked exasperated. "You're 10 years old. Act like it." He was. So, anywho, this book really fell flat to me, and it makes me real sad because there is a ghost in here, and I love the title, but it just fell flat. I am glad I went with Time for Andrew, though. It was great. Next up is Wren Wright, and I loved her. Wren Wright wanted to write ghost stories, and she wanted the ghosts to be real, not explained away by anything. The Dollhouse Murders is the first one I read, and I had an excellent time with it, as you can see. Although, again, in this one, maybe this was the 70s and 80s things, again, a mother is expecting a child to take care of another child. Maybe it was not uncommon in that day, and probably not. It's just, you know, the mother in this one fusses at Amy, for losing track of her sister, who is developmentally disabled, I think. They call her brain damaged. And I found myself trying to look up what that meant. Did we not have the vocabulary back then? My mom was in special education as a educator, and then something above a teacher. I'm not sure exactly what her thing was. So, you know, it makes me, when I hear things like brain damaged, I want to know, was there an accident? Did she have cerebral palsy? I want specifics. And maybe that's just because of how I was raised. There is one thing that I knew would be a plot point, and it was not, it didn't end the way I thought it would, as far as who the bad guy was and everything. But here's one thing I'll say about this, and also in Time for Andrew. A great children's writer doesn't dumb it down for the reader. When you read a great children's book, you can read that at any age. It will appeal to you at any age. And The Dollhouse Murders and Time for Andrew both live up to that. Next, this is the last one that I read by Betty Wren Wright, Christina's Ghost. Again, I didn't have as many tabs as I did in the Dollhouse Murders, but this was also fantastic. There's a real life ghost, there's danger, there is a young girl getting to know her uncle and trying to get him to believe her when she tells him about the ghost and the danger. Really great read. Doesn't dumb it down. The kid is left unattended like we were back in the day, and teaches herself to swim, and all I could think is, she could drown. Anywho, that's my author spotlight. If you've got young kids, I do recommend. I think these books stand the test of time. Might need to explain some things about how nowadays we don't go teach ourselves to swim, or talk about the differences between the 80s and now. But great. Stand the test of time for sure. Anywho, that's all for me. I'm still smelling that chicken, and I gotta go get me some. Happy reading!